And a couple of times he asked, I said no. Mummy said, sat me down, haan kehna chahiye. I said, no, I don't think so. Only because we were such good friends. And usme again, if you throw another, complication, it'll...
Right. So you were the one to ask, or...?
No, he was the one to ask.
Okay.
It was, yeah, we talked about it a lot, because I didn't want to ruin a friendship. And I'm not one to have many friends, so I have a very select few. Because really, if you want to be a very good friend, sabka khayal karna padna bahut time lagta hai. So I can only have
keep everyone happy.
Right. And then you have my siblings and my parents, and there's already, plates full.
Yeah. And you have so many things to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But he was very good about everything I did. Modeling mein humko bahut support kiye, and a lot of, I think, Desi people would have some discomfort. And then mathematics mein jahan pe humko raat mein kaam karna tha, he was very supportive. I would have to drive down to New York sometimes, no problems. Aake hum mere saath jaate the wo. And I noticed all those good things, and those aren't, you can't take that for granted either.
Yeah. So apart from mathematics, your teaching, your modeling, and your doctorate, am I missing something?
Oh gosh, I'm a mother.
Yeah, of course, that's a new thing. So tell us something about that.
It's amazing, of course. I was in labor for 3 days. That's what I think about. We wanted to have a natural birth. Again, no chemicals. We don't know enough about, nothing's really been studied on how it affects a baby.
The body, yeah.
Right. So, not too much at least. And so I tried very hard to keep going at it and making sure that I wasn't going to harm him in any way. And I wanted him to be very aware of things, not sedated when he comes out. It didn't go as planned. Teen ke baad, I was very tired.
Okay.
But he's amazing. I mean, he's absolutely amazing.
So what's his name?
Yuvan.
Yuvan, yeah.
Okay. He's 10 months. He's very active. Chalna shuru kar diya hai. Bolta hai thoda thoda mama papa. Gussa mein zyada bolta hai.
Is he encrypting some codes or something? No, not yet.
No, but he's trying to count.
Okay, that's good.
Haath se karta hai, 2, 3. No, he definitely has a personality. I didn't know anything about children, so we didn't. Of course, in the U.S. mein na itna close knit family to nahi rehta. You don't have a large extended family, so I didn't see any of my cousins growing up really. Bacha koi I haven't seen. Yeah, so this is the first time I'm actually seeing a baby. It's very nerve-wracking. Of course you're doing all the mistakes you can think of. And I keep thinking, okay, Didi ko batayenge jab bacha hoga, not to do this and this. Meri bhabhi jo hai, making sure I have a list in my head. Kahan se kuch kharidna chahiye? Because we've gone through all the experimental part of it. So I've been waiting for someone to have a kid so I can tell them all the things to do. Yeah.
So, like going back all the way to India,
Sure.
You were born in India, and
born in
did
India.
you study also there, or you came directly?
No, I studied, I think. First grade mein the jab yahan aaye. So I basically skipped the first grade and ended up in second grade because of the transition time. And I don't remember too much about it. Didi ko bahut yaad hai, but I don't remember anything.
You don't remember?
I have 2 younger brothers. They were much younger. We were all born in India.
Okay.
So my youngest brother was 2 years almost when he came. And it was a very rough transition to the US. 4 bachon ke saath, papa college mein
For your
the.
parents, it must be tough.
I can't even imagine it. In that sense, my life has been very golden.
I think we talked about it when we interviewed Pushpa also, and she mentioned like what are the problems you faced and everything.
Right.
It's really good that you came long way from there and struggled with all those things.
That's true. And right now I have a nanny that's, she's left her son in Nepal, and she's come here working with her husband. Her husband has been here for much longer than she has. And I look at them and she gets very sad. She's missing her son, of course. And I think, kisi ko karna hai ye, that big step. Gaon se bahar jana, kuch karna hai. If they really want to expand, someone has to make that big sacrifice. And Papa did it in our generation, in my family. And ye kar rahi hai apne family ke liye. So aap log kar rahe hain, it's just, and not necessarily come to the US. India mein bhi itna cheez ho raha hai.
Migrating from a village to a town is a big deal.
Yeah. Papa was the first in his whole family, of course, to go to college. It was a big deal for him. He jitna paisa tha college se wo ghar beche the hamesha. Even here, it's there's a misconception America mein reh rahe hain, itna acha rehta, acha wahan pe it must be.
Expect gifts when you come back.
And which is a pleasure, but it's also first and foremost is sustaining your family and then giving out.
Yeah. It looks good from far away.
Bahar se, yeah.
So what do you think, like the values that you learn in India, like maybe very little period of your childhood that you spent in India, and when you came here, you still, the family still taught you the values, but
Yes.
outside world was having some different values. So how did you manage to keep at good values and still fight with the bad ones?
It was challenging. Again, I think the lucky thing was that Mommy and Papa were very grounded in their culture. I learned a lot of the arts from Mommy. She's very, very talented, as you know. Singing, dancing, singing, anything she put her hands to was just amazing. Khana banana, you know, I can't live without Indian food. Indian khana banate hain hum. Those are not sort of necessarily values, but they actually keep the culture alive. No? You'll see, I think when I first came, it was hard because the society has a very different philosophy. You know, they in college I didn't even know people drank.
Yeah.
I had no idea, but when I was teaching, I realized these things, that I was so sheltered because my students, they used to come so, you know, so hungover and unwell, and I couldn't understand. Tum 17 saal ke ho, tum apna pura dimag ko kyun kharab kar rahe ho?
Right.
You know, because in my head when I was growing up, I thought scientifically a lot, because so if you drink alcohol, you kill this many amount of brain cells, and I need that many brain cells to remember this kind of math. So right. I can't afford losing brain cells. So the first time I drank was with my husband when I was 26. I was much older. Not that it was important, even a social thing, because socially it was actually very difficult. You know, college may people will go. The first thing they do at parties is put together some drink or something, and I kept noticing this problem, and it really used to frustrate me. So I was very antisocial because of that cultural barrier. And लड़कियों के साथ, if in modeling, a lot of the girls, I didn't understand what they were doing, and so you can imagine a lot of the stories are true. So I had to always leave early. I always left early. I always arrived on time. I kept my presentation of myself very professional at all the time, in anywhere outside of the home. Right. And I think the reason was because I had a lot of respect for my parents. So ghar jaake kya batate? You know, and that was important. I always kept thinking that they are going through so much because they want you to do well.
And if you don't do well, then
right, and that weights on your shoulder. Right. So it's cultural, but it could be for any family. Even here, if you look at a lot of, I have a Jewish family that I work with right now, at-risk work kar rahe hain. Their family is very hard. They're very stiff structured. They have very serious decisions that they would like to make all the time for their kids, and you can either feel it too much weight and get lost, or you can feel like I can keep lifting it because I'm doing the right thing all the time. So I had that strength internally, and so that transition was all because ghar mein prem tha. You know, you really wanted to keep that prem because it's not granted. It's not going to be there tomorrow if you do something wrong.
And I'm sure, like, your parents must be very proud that you carried that weight over your shoulders, and you are here today with so many achievements with you.
You know, Didi, when I was little, Didi doesn't remember this, but she told me, she sat me down one time and I said, so who do you want to marry, Didi? We were 10, 12 years old, and she was like, I don't care who he is, but he has to be very, very Hindu. And I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. So because to me, we weren't, God, Bhagwan, aisa kuch nahi tha ki that was religion. We just did that at home. Right. And she had somehow decided that it was important that the person be very open to what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. That whole thing about karma. And that's what was her decision on religion and what Hindu meant. And I took that. She doesn't remember telling me this, but humko yaad hai, because I remember that being a transition point.
That affected your thinking also?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely did.
Okay, so for our viewers who are still struggling to do something or trying to achieve something in their own lives, what are the messages that you would like to give from your learnings? What is to that they should keep in mind?
Talk slower than I do.